A highway to hell it was, but damn it, this is one of the best SummerSlams I've ever seen. We're looking at SummerSlam 1998 taking place in Madison Square Garden. And usually, when WWE/WWF go to MSG, they tend to give you the best show possible, and they definitely delivered here because they just had every match was great, good to great. The worst match was a comedy match, which you would expect. And if the match wasn't good, it at least set you up for something better down the road. So let's just talk about the show. Um, we kick off the night with what is slowly becoming a classic. I've noticed a lot of people are saying, "Oh, this is one of the greatest openers of all time," but D'Lo Brown and Val Venus for the European Championship. D'Lo Brown was hella underrated. It's kind of sad that we never got to see a proper IC title run. I didn't see him as a world champion, especially at a time where you had The Rock, Triple H, and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, D'Lo Brown. Maybe if he stuck around in the Ruthless Aggression era, but I don't know. He was actually a phenomenal workhorse here. Val Venus was a great character and a great heel, just like this ladies' man and stuff. There's a part where Val Venus is wearing D'Lo Brown's vest. There's a lot of stuff that goes on. Eventually, Val Venus and the referee get into an argument that leads into a DQ. There is a side of me that kind of wish either one person won or the other. But I'm still happy that we got the match that we got. This match was incredible. It was top speed at its finest. This was a precursor to what the cruiserweights were in WCW around this time. The Oddities versus Kai and Tai. This was the comedy thing of the show. I wasn't really paying attention. It was maybe the worst thing possible. Again, it entertained some people, but maybe this was a little too long. It's 10 minutes. I mean, no. This should have been at least 3 minutes at best. And they probably would have given more time for the other matches because the rumor going around is that the main event was a little rushed, but I didn't feel it, but I'll talk about it when I get to it. X-Pac defeated Jeff Jarrett in a hair versus hair match. Classic X-Pac and Jeff Jarrett, just two great characters. Eventually, this led to Jeff Jarrett going bald, and we got the character that we know Jeff Jarrett for the most, even though he was slowly going to WCW, you could tell, and X-Pac was one of the top baby faces around. Man, X-Pac was fucking great in the Attitude Era. Very underrated. And I'm very happy that they got this victory. And, it was a good feel-good moment of seeing Jeff Jarrett getting his head shaved. Sable was having a feud with Mark Merrow. They needed someone, a woman involved, so they had Jacqueline involved. There was a bikini contest back in the Attitude Era when those were allowed. And eventually this led to a mixed tag team match between Sable and a mystery partner versus Mark Merrow and Jacqueline. That mystery partner being Edge. You could tell this was just to build up Edge and making him a top star. But really, this was basically Edge's showcase. It felt weird having Edge be the one to tag team with Sable, but whatever. We got what we got, and it was a darn entertaining match. I can't really fault it. This was a really good match. Another one. A very underrated stipulation that no one has used maybe ever. I know they do one again the following year, but it's Ken Shamrock versus Owen Hart in a Lion's Den match. This is essentially a UFC match. The two men brawling. I know they do the fight pit, but it's not the same, and it doesn't hit close to home as the Lion's Den. This one felt more unique, especially because it was an octagon, and it's fitting that Ken Shamrock was the winner, given that this is his territory. And I was very entertained. This is another top tier match, one of the best of the night. Um, and yeah, I can't really fault it for it. New Age Outlaws were supposed to fight Mankind and Kane. Kane no showed, and then eventually, it was just New Age Outlaws versus Mankind in a 2-on-1 handicap match. I like the story of Mankind basically fighting on his own, doing the best he can, but it was still no match for the New Age Outlaws, and they retained the WWF Tag Team Championships. This was Falls Count Anywhere, even though you didn't really feel it. I don't know. This is definitely one of the weaker Falls Count Anywhere matches, but it was still entertaining for what the story was telling. I know Kane does show around, but mainly Kane plays a bigger part in later on in the show. Triple H and The Rock for the Intercontinental Championship. It's weird saying that out loud, that they were fighting for a mid card belt, and they fought in a ladder match. And years ago, way before Catanation Studios was around, I used to go by the Double X Prince. Remember that dark era of my time? I made a very unpopular opinion saying that Triple H and The Rock had better chemistry than Brett and Shawn, and because they had better singles matches, they had a better Iron Man match, and even here they had a better ladder match in my opinion, and this was a great match. I know that this match was famous. I saw the Young Rock series where they talk about The Rock going overtime, and they got mad at him, but then Vince McMahon was happy because the match was great, and this was my match of the night. The Rock and Triple H had a great chemistry. It was essentially DX versus the Nation, the two leaders collab. They embarrassed China. They took down DX. Triple H was getting revenge. They mock the Nation. X-Pac did blackface, which was oof. That wouldn't work today, but they went all out with this feud, and it was great. And you would have thought this was the world title feud, but it wasn't, and it was the IC title match back when the IC title meant the world. Nowadays it's just a mid card belt to hold. I'm glad that they're doing good stuff with it now, but for a while, the IC belt was irrelevant. But they made this belt felt special, and I was really happy with it. Triple H gets the victory, and the rest is history. Then we get the main event. Stone Cold Steve Austin puts the WWF Championship on the line against The Undertaker. And it's very fitting that it was this match that we got, because I just feel like for a Madison Square Garden main event and to further push Stone Cold as the top face of the company, you needed to give him a big top tier guy for him to beat, and it was The Undertaker. And it also continued the story of the Brothers of Destruction, with Stone Cold added into the mix. I know eventually down the road it's Stone Cold, Kane, and The Undertaker, but here they do have Kane get involved. He doesn't really do much outside of just kind of showing around and peeking out, but they did a good job telling that story that, Stone Cold had to use Kane to beat him, but it was still really good. I do like that Stone Cold wasn't your typical, oh no, I'm not hitting you this way. No, I'm going to retain the title. I'm going to be a badass about it. I'm going to whoop your ass. And he does. And Stone Cold Steve Austin beats The Undertaker. Eventually they shake hands. Undertaker passing the belt to Stone Cold. This was one of the best pay-per-views I've ever seen. One of my favorite SummerSlams of all time, and you guessed it, it's getting an A+, the first A+ so far. So we have two back-to-back great SummerSlams, and I cannot wait to continue on this journey. We're slowly going into the 2000s. We have one last show in the 90s, 1999, the year I was born. Let's see how this show goes. Let's see if it lives up to the hype or disappoints. I know there's mixed feelings on SummerSlam 99. This is going to be my first time watching it, so wish me luck.